because it's recorded and I can't take it back.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
It is now.
Y'all are live?
Yeah, we are live. Oh,
One
shoot.
last thing. Try to be about this far away from the mic.
Okay. Yeah, I was too close last week.
No, you weren't. Everybody was good. So,
Yes, MR.
Some more, baby.
But
Yeah.
we can fix everything. If y'all want to talk a little bit. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
the
check.
other thing too, I picked up on this is like the tapping. We all do like
I was
stuff,
doing
whatever
this.
on
Yeah.
the table is fine, but if you tap this, it goes straight to the mic.
Okay.
Oh, good to know.
We all did it.
Holding my hand.
I know, I'm just going to keep my hands down here.
Well,
It's hard because I talk with my hand.
it
Oh,
is.
I do too. I'm Italian. I can't.
That's why I put my hair so I don't like
Eyes on the prize.
hands in my hair.
Keeping Kathy focused is difficult because you're so outgoing and you want to talk to everybody. I'm like, girl,
Talk about everything.
come
Yeah, they gotta
on.
rein me in sometimes. So it's
which
all
is a good thing.
Yeah,
We have found we all have our
we
gifts.
do.
Yes.
We do.
I think they feel pretty complimentary so
Yeah,
far.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're learning as we go.
Yeah, totally. So we have our special guest on today.
Yes, we do.
And I think, as our producer leaves.
Oh.
He's
you,
like,
Chris.
that's my cue. I'm out.
Taking my most going.
Yeah.
But Jordyn,
Hello.
Jordyn Jones for Jordyn Jones Voice, and many other things. You want to tell us, our listeners, a little bit about kind of your background?
Sure. So born and raised in Lakeland, and I feel like I started singing and performing when I was born, but I didn't actually do my first show until I was in 8th grade. My parents tried to get me in sports, and I was just twirling in the middle of the soccer field, not really playing. But anyway, so I did my first show in 8th grade, and I played Cinderella in Cinderella.
Oh, nice.
And from then on, it's been full steam ahead. So I went to high school and was in show choir and was in all of the shows, played a lot of fun parts, and went to college, got my BFA in musical theater, and then from there I decided I wanted to go to New York and be on Broadway just like everybody, but I didn't feel like I was ready yet, and I always wanted, higher education and stuff, so I decided to go to get my master's and moved out to Oklahoma, did my master's of music and musical theater, and then from there, I kind of fell in love with the directing and the vocal pedagogy side of things even more so. Well, I wouldn't say even more so. In addition to my love of performing, and I was like, well, why can't I do all of it? And so I mean, anything to do with theater and music, I just love so much. I was like, how can I pour myself into all these different areas? And I had a fabulous voice teacher out there who was also the vocal pedagogy teacher. So I was learning how to teach voice lessons while also learning technique from her. And so I was getting this like double reiteration of everything that I was hearing in class in my voice lessons and about the science and everything, and I just like totally fell in love with it. And then I graduated and I was like, well, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And we had in that spring that I graduated, we had these like mock like agency interviews where they brought in a talent agent from the Oklahoma City area to do these like mock interviews with us. And while I was doing my mock interview, I actually got offered a job, and I was like,
Jeez.
this was fake. How did I just get offered a job? And so I ended up going and working for this talent agency for about like 6 to 8 months, I can't remember how long. But so that was really cool because then I was learning the other side of the talent industry. Mm-hmm. So like where my whole focus had always been voice and acting and dance, now I was learning TV, film, commercials, print shoots, modeling. I was learning all that side of the talent industry, and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. Yeah. And then so at that point, I was the person who was like receiving the headshots and the resumes, wow. And then submitting people for film and TV, and it was really cool. It was really fun. But so I did that for a while, and I was missing the vocal part. I just felt like I was supposed to be teaching voice. So I saw on Facebook, one of my friends from grad school had posted that one of the local performing arts centers, it was like a dance studio, but they also had like an acting and voice I don't know what you call it, department, I guess, within their dance studio, was looking for a voice teacher. And so I sent them an email with my resume and everything, and they were like, yeah, like we'd love to have you come on and teach some lessons. So I was about to start to do that, and then they were like, actually, our desk manager is going on maternity leave. Will you work the front desk and teach voice lessons? And I was like, sure. So I was working the front desk at this dance studio and teaching a couple voice lessons. And then the lady who taught all of the younger acting classes, so all like the boss's husband taught the older kids, and this was like all the middle school to elementary classes. She was like going on maternity leave, so they were like, "Can you take over this acting program?" And I was like,
gosh.
"Sure." And so at one point I was
Wait,
working.
so you have a problem. You don't ever say no.
Oh, you didn't already know this about her?
So there was one point where I was working the front desk in addition to the voice lessons, and now teaching 6 acting classes. Wow. So I was doing that, and then eventually they found someone to take over the desk, so I was just doing the acting and the voice. And I mean, I was directing 6 separate productions at a time, because every one of my classes did their own show. So there was at one point where I'm directing 4 separate productions of Elf Jr.
Oh dear.
And then 2 productions of this little show that I wrote for my youngest classes. So I was, Elf, like the full version.
Right.
Yes.
The Junior is just as big.
Yes.
They just cut a couple songs. I mean, it's huge. And so that like, it was a lot. It was a lot. And it was just me. Like, I mean, my boss's husband, like he would help with the set and the costumes and stuff. But music, blocking, I did have an assistant that helped with choreo. So for the musical theater classes, not the younger kids, but she assisted me for the 4 older, I don't know if they're not old, they weren't old, but the older classes. But so like the blocking, the music, I was making all the props, I was doing all these things, and
For 6 different shows.
for 6 different shows at one time. And and then life things happen. My grandpa passed away, and things different happened, and I was like, you know what, I feel like I need to go home. Like I've lived in Oklahoma for, at that point it was I lived there for 4 years. So I did my 2 years of my master's and my 2 years teaching and at the agency and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I miss my parents. I miss my family. I just, I want to go home. So I moved home, and then it's been nonstop since then. I started teaching voice lessons, and that has taken off, and I'm so happy I have the best students ever. But so I do that, and I teach voice for the local performing arts high school. I teach acting classes at our local theater, and I direct and choreograph, and I just, whatever they throw at me, I just do it. I love it. I can't get enough. So that's me. That was long-winded.
Explain what vocal pedagogy, is that what you said?
Yes.
What is that?
Vocal pedagogy is like how you teach voice.
Okay.
Basically the teaching behind the voice. And ours was very science-based. So, I mean, I even had to go and see a cadaver, and they were like,
Wow.
here's a lung. And I was
gosh.
like, I'm gonna jump to the back of the clump here, and we looked at the larynx and all the stuff in there. So it's all the science behind the vocal mechanism and how it works and how to fix vocal faults and things like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how I kind of approach my voice lessons as well, is from that like science-based, a lot of semi-occluded exercises and things like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I guess.
It's wild. I mean, so many people think just singing is just getting up
Right.
and
Oh,
singing.
I
you know?
did,
Whether
yeah.
you're singing in the shower or singing in the car.
Well,
or
I mean,
whatever.
we're fortunate enough, right? So Pinky is one of your students, and I know you're like loaded for bear with all vocals. So like, first of all, I just have to say thank you for taking her, because what you have done for her is like completely transformative. But she comes home sometimes after having a lesson with you, and she's like super educated now about the voice, and I know she still has like tons more to learn. But she's telling me stuff like, as I'm getting older, like I have this whole, like, it was a whole thing.
The whole imitational teeth.
Yes. She's like describing it as there's this hole in her
vocal
cords or whatever, and it's like she's just never gonna sing while this is like happening.
No,
And
that is not true.
She wasn't listening in class that day.
It creates a little a breathiness in the tone, but it grows, it closes up and they grow. It's just their voice change, just like when a male singers or male in general, their voice changes. The girls go through it too.
Yeah.
So I always discuss it with those like middle school age and early high school girls because I don't want them to be alarmed if there's a little breathiness to their tone.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
How long does it last?
It starts like early, it's puberty. So as they get older, it closes up. So usually I hear it with my high school students, usually by their junior and senior year, like you really can start to hear a difference in the maturity of their sound. But yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty funny.
I always have to tell them, I'm like, so you have this little oval hole in your vocal cords right now, but I promise it's supposed to be there and you're not going to die. And they're like, wait, what?
Then that's what came home. I have what? I'm done. This is never gonna heal. Yeah, I'm done.
I'll never sing again.
Like their voice is just very unsettled in that age. And so I'm like, well, some days it's going to work for you. Some days your voice is not going to work for you. You're a human and your voice is changing and that's just how it goes.
And anybody who knows anything about singing who's directing or, any of that, they're going to know that's there and they hear it and it's nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
But speaking of, there's something you're very passionate about and we
Just
want to
one
learn
thing?
more about. No, well, sometimes when Jordyn knows a lot about something and she doesn't see it being done right, I can see it in you.
Oh, yes.
So we want to talk today about the audition cut and why is it so important to pick the right piece and how can we help others pick the right piece? Because I know I was an epic fail at our first audition cut. I don't know if you remember. It's been a while ago and hundreds of kids ago. But we'd love to hear your take on it.
Your audition cut can make or break your audition. It's important to, just because you like a song doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you and your voice. We always say to pick a song that's in the style of the show that you're auditioning for. So if you're auditioning for, like we're doing Rudolph right now, you can pick a Christmas song or pick a musical theater song, something that's gonna fit the style so that we can see you and where you would fit in this production. But also something you want to pick something that's going to showcase you in the best way possible. So if you know that you struggle with a high note at the end of the cut, then maybe you pick a part in the song that's a little earlier that you can sing solid. It's going to be solid every time you do it, and you're going to feel really confident when you sing it because maybe sometimes I hit the high note, maybe sometimes I don't. You don't want to risk it, right? This is your 30 seconds to come in and show us what you got and be the best that you can be. So pick something that's going to be really, really solid. And we always say too, if it says 16 bars, that doesn't necessarily mean exactly 16 bars, right? So
cut it off right at the end.
So we would much rather you finish a phrase than to stop in the middle of a word, right? So you can go, and that's not saying go 40 bars, but that's saying go 18, go 19, if it's gonna complete the phrase. And you wanna pick something too that you can relate to. I don't know, not relate to, but something that's obtainable emotionally for you. So I would never want a kid to come in and an 8-year-old to come in and sing something from Cabaret or something like that that's a little mature. So pick something that's attainable for your age and your ability.
That's helpful to hear because our first time, I'm a rule follower most of the time, and the audition notice says come prepared to sing 16 bars of a song. Well, 16 bars is 16 bars, so we came in and sang, I think it was How Far I'll Go from Moana, which you've probably heard a gazillion times, and started at the beginning and stopped at 16 right in the middle of something. And the music director at the time was like, well, next time why don't you finish the phrase that we didn't know.
Sometimes they'll be like, you know the rest right here, right? You want to keep going? And they'll be like, just go a little further. You can do it, But that's a great, that song, yes, we hear it quite often, especially in children's theater, because it's popular. And honestly, it sits in a really nice range for a young child's voice. But that's a good example of picking a cut of that song. If you know you can't hit the "I'll go" at the end, then do the first chorus where it's I don't know, there's no telling how far I'll go, and starts or ends lower, because you can go in there and you can commit to that and it would be solid versus I think I can get that note out at the end. I don't know. We'll see. Or you're like
Right.
straining and we're like, oh, you know.
That was
So,
one of our
yeah.
questions. So, because a lot of times with our kids, you're picking cuts toward the end of a song. But that, so you're saying a lot of times songs will build on themselves. They'll start in a certain range and then kind of.
Yeah, usually it has like a bigger ending, and that's why the end typically gets picked. But sometimes you can find cuts in other places of the song that would work just as well.
Okay.
I mean, even say you're auditioning for a specific character type, and there's like a set of lyrics in like the song that you think, oh, this really applies to what that character is going through. Or let me try to showcase that emotion that I know that character needs. Then you can pick that cut. Because whatever I'm trying to say,
Yeah, it makes
it's just
sense.
as strong of a
So
choice.
much that goes through.
Yeah,
And
this is just me as a director. Maybe other directors might be different, but this is just just me.
And how much of it is the singing part, and how much is it, I don't know if it's acting or characterization or what you would call that?
I for me, a kid can come in and sing, but if they don't show any emotion on their face, if it's totally deadpan, or they're like picking at their clothes and they're fidgeting and like that's when they're fidgeting is distracting in an audition. But also because we don't require a monologue usually. I mean, monologues, you see that more with play auditions than you do musicals at this point, because we feel like we need to see that you can storytell through a song, right? So that's what we are as actors, are storytellers, right? So I want to see that you're connected to the character while you're singing. And that work that that shows us that you can sing and you can act at the same time. So we always tell, or at least I tell students, find a focal point on the wall above the director's head, and you find that focal point becomes your invisible scene partner. So your IP, or that's what some of us call it, your invisible partner. So you find that focal point, and then you just send all your energy there. That's where you're telling your story, and that's where you just direct your attention. Not to say that you can't, if your character's thinking about something, they can look down, but as long as they come back to that same spot.
Gotcha.
They should never look right in your eyes.
No.
Is that creepy, or what is it?
Yeah, well,
I've done that before.
sometimes
Singing
they're
to them.
singing
Yeah.
love songs or something, and you're like, you're an 8-year-old. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. It's just this kind of awkward, right? But also, I want to, when you're on stage, unless you're, it's a moment where you're breaking the fourth wall, you're not looking at the audience, right? Your energy's out here. So it's just the same thing in an audition. But I like to see expression and connected to the lyrics. That's a big portion of it, is looking at a song without the notes. Look at it without the notes. Look at the lyrics. What is the story? What are they trying to say? What does this character want in this moment? And then you bring that out in your performance. You connect to that emotion or that storytelling, and then bring that out. Because I feel like that happens all the time when you're listening to the radio and you're just singing along to the song because it's got a catchy rhythm or whatever melody, and then you there's that time that hits you and you're like, wait, what are these, what are they saying? I mean, that happens all the time.
yeah.
And you're like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, now I understand what the song's about. Well, yeah, that's really important for us in a show. We need to know, you have to be able to tell us a story. So I do that with my lessons and everything. I'm like, okay, let's look at what are we saying here, right? And how does that make you feel? And how do we portray that? What are some things you can do with your body that would, reflect that emotion or whatever? And we break it down. But also doing your homework and looking up the show that the song is from, knowing what's happening in the context of the show that happens right before they sing this song. What is the lead up? There's just doing your homework, that kind of stuff.
Is there is there no-nos when you're doing that kind of research? You want to steer clear of these common things when you're picking a song that you're
an
gonna
overdone
sing?
song?
Well, either that or if you're trying to pick a character and there's I guess a racial difference, for example. You maybe want to steer clear of certain things, right? So is there things like that?
Oh yeah, there's this whole thing in theater with knowing your type. and if this role was originally played by someone of one race, then maybe that role isn't for you, right? Race matters when race matters. You definitely want to pick something that is reflective of who you are as a performer.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
And stay kind of within your wheelhouse.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And your age. I feel like that's a huge thing. Is like,
Right.
look, just because you really like Waitress or something, yeah, you're 13. You're not gonna play Jenna right now, right? So maybe we don't sing "She Used to Be Mine." Right, because you have no life experience to pull into that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
How are you connecting?
Sing something more like "A Million Dreams." I don't know. I hear "A Million Dreams" so many times.
A lot.
But honestly and truthfully, it's a great audition cut. You can find and it shows some range and stuff. So, but pick something that's a little more appropriate for your age.
And they need to be like Broadway songs. Like, don't pick like popular songs.
It depends on what you're auditioning for.
Okay.
So, like, if you're going to audition for something like Rock of Ages, like that's all 80s rock music, then come in with an 80s rock song to
love
show
that
that you can
Makes
sing
sense.
Okay,
like
that makes sense.
that. Or if you're auditioning for Rent or something like that, like, or even like 9 to 5, come in with some country, so you can pick something that's in the genre. But like if you're auditioning for Rudolph, you want to stick maybe a little more
From the heavy
Christmas,
metal.
a little more classic. It's all in looking at the style of the show that you're auditioning for and picking something within that style.
So, like when you're picking your songs, I've noticed that when you're looking at like the audition calls, right? Like people saying, okay, we have open auditions for this. Come prepared with whatever the criteria is. Sometimes they say, we want a song from the show. And sometimes they don't. Like our local community theater very rarely wants you to sing something from the show. They want you to pick something else. What's the methodology there that makes them choose one way or the other when they're doing that call?
I
Do you
think
know?
it just depends on the director. There's a Into the Woods audition coming up soon
Today?
Locally today. Tomorrow right?
Today and
Yes,
tomorrow.
yeah. Which a major no you hear in the musical theater world is never take a Sondheim song into an audition because it's incredibly difficult music for a accompanist to read and sight read on the spot, right? But for that audition, they're requesting that you bring a Sondheim song because they want to see, do we have singers and musicians who have the chops to sing Sondheim, right? So sometimes it just depends on the director. Maybe they have a limited time and they don't have time to do callbacks or something, so they're like, here, just sing something from the show because we aren't going to have time to hear everybody do that, so just sing something from the show. I don't know. It just probably depends on the director and what their style is. I tend to like them to sing something different because I don't want them to sing a song from the show and then that distort my vision of the show, right? Like I want to see them where I think they fit within the
Yes.
scope of the whole show.
Because they would kind of tie themselves into one
Yes.
role, where you now see them as
I kind
Rudolph
of like
or whatever.
Like I think most people do that too. Like where it's you just sing something and then you would sing from the show at the callback. Once the director knows, okay, I think I have these people that might could play this part, and then let's hear all of them do that part and see how the puzzle pieces are gonna fit together. But yeah. So yeah, don't sing Sondheim for an audition.
I didn't.
That's a good one.
Well,
Makes
Sondheim
sense.
and Jason Robert Brown, they're just known to be like, they're incredible composers, but their music is really, really difficult, and it's not really fair to a pianist or an accompanist to make them sight read that on the spot.
Well, that's a good question because I've had my kids come out of an audition with just a regular song, and the accompanist I probably didn't say that word right, I never can, didn't play it like they were used to rehearsing it, or they went too slow or too fast or didn't start in the right place. How can you avoid that, or what can a child do, or anyone do, to kind of prepare for that difference from a soundtrack or
You just keep going.
Okay.
You just keep going. The accompanist is probably sight reading and trying to, maybe they've never seen the song before, they're not familiar with it, they're trying to figure it out as they go. But it's also very important, when you go into an audition, the people in the room, they know why you're there. It's not a secret, right? You are there to try out, to be a part of the show, right? And so you walk in and have a conversation with the pianist. Like, it's not a secret, it's not
Okay.
a secret. Can you start here and then go here and then? No, it's not a secret. Just say, hey, this is what I'm singing. And like, obviously, I mean, be friendly with them because that also shows that you are friendly and nice to work with, which always looks good in an audition. But you can talk with them and say, you know, this is where I'm going to start. This is where I'm going to end. Can you give me my starting pitch? Or if you want a little intro, can you start here? You just want to make sure your music is clearly marked. Like, this is where I'm starting and this is where I'm ending. You also want to make sure that your music, your sheet music that you take into the audition is in the same key that you rehearsed it. Because we have that a lot where a kid or an adult or whoever will come in and give you the music and that you start playing, or the pianist will start playing it, and then they're like, that's not how I did it. You know, and they'll say something, or they'll come in and say, can you actually play this in the key of C sharp?
Oh, dear.
Or whatever, whatever it is.
Do you have to transpose on the spot?
Well, you can.
No, I mean, like, the pianists I've been around have been like, well, I'm going to play what's on the page. I can't just transpose this, like, with my eyeballs, like, right here in this moment while you have 1 minute in the room.
That's a different level.
So, I mean, that's really important that you pick, you get your sheet music in the same key that you've rehearsed it. And there's lots of resources for that, too, like...
I like Sheet Music Direct. Like, I go and get stuff from there.
Yeah, Sheet Music Direct, there's Sheet Music Plus, there's musicnotes.com. I use Music Notes a lot. But then there's also books. There's books of sheet music. I have, the Singers Musical Theater Anthologies, which are great. They have like 7 volumes of each voice part. So if you know you're a soprano, just get some of those. You can get them on Amazon. I don't know. I used to get them in college. I'd go to the half-price bookstores where people just like donate old books, and I would find them for like $4. And I'd be like, thank you. Here's a bunch of sheet music for me. And then you just make their nice clean copies too in those books, and you can just make a copy and mark your music or take the book with you. But they also have, there's like the Broadway for Kids books, or I have a Disney for teenage girls or something like book where, you can find anything that's like, or if you really like a show, there's like anthologies that are just that show and just the music from that show. And typically they're in the key that the original soundtrack is in. So those are great resources too. I have a whole Moana book because they all love singing Moana, I probably need to get an Encanto book now. Right. That's the new one.
Yeah.
But just making sure it's in the same key. And if you don't know, if you don't read music and you don't know if this is the same, just ask somebody like, hey, can you check this and make sure, if you know somebody that plays piano or can read music, like, can you just make sure this is the same key?
Aren't there apps now that can like read the music and actually play the tone, like play it?
Well, I know Music Notes has that. Like if you go onto Music Notes, you have to buy the original key, but then, and it'll play through it for you once you buy it. But then you have the ability to transpose it into whatever key that you need on there, and then you can print whatever.
That's nice.
Yeah, you can transpose it, which is great. Like, especially if that I think really works well with like pop songs or something like, I don't like this key, or if it's a male song and you're a female wanting to sing it, transpose it, and then you're in the right place for your voice. But it's very important that you come in with it in the right key, because if not, like, that's not going to work, and you're going to be like all over the place scrambling.
And actual sheet music, not like this is just the note you're singing.
I think what happens a lot is maybe people just like Google like
They get like good
the
guitar
song,
chords,
and they bring in guitar chords or lead sheets, or they'll bring in like a whole like bunch of notes but no words. Well, the accompanist wants to see the words so they can follow you better, right? So make sure the words are there, and make sure that it's like a nice clean copy, that you're not cutting off any notes on the bottom, that you're not cutting off the key signature on the left hand side, because like they got to know what key to play it in, right? And they got to be able to see all the notes, right? So if it's smudged or if it's cut off on the bottom, like then you're not setting yourself up for success with that.
Yeah, that sounds like preparation is key for sure. Lots of resources in the community and online for parents to help their kids or adults that are just getting into it. I know in our first podcast that we did, we talked about how important it is to reach out to a local vocal coach, someone that can help your child and help them kind of get involved and
the more prepared you are, the better your audition's going to go. I forgot what I was going to say. I just blanked out.
Do it all the time.
It's okay.
Yeah, it happens. Well, like our first audition, was bumpy, to say the least. We were fortunate enough that Pinky still got cast, but she was nervous about it, and we had some back and forth, enough back and forth that we believed in the beginning that she wasn't even going to get, there was no way she was going to get cast, because we had signed her up and showed up. We were not prepared. She was not willing to actually do it. So then we came home, and this was before we had like assigned slots and stuff. It was more just show up.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
And pre-COVID.
So you guys showed up, and she was like, "I don't want to do this."
Yeah.
So you went home. Oh wow.
Yeah, because Chris had taken her, and so then Chris brought her home, and then we talked about it at home, and I was like, I think you're going to really regret this if you don't go. And so we, talked her into going, and she went, but we didn't know that she needed music at the time. Like, we didn't really understand. We didn't understand a lot.
But like, it's your first one. I mean, it's a learning
Yeah.
experience. I mean, like, I always tell the kids, you learn from every audition you go to. You learn something new.
We learned a lot.
Well,
And
she sang
went-
Happy Birthday, didn't she?
Yeah, she just
So-
went in and sang Happy Birthday, and
Obviously, she sang it really well.
yeah, she did fine.
Or she had a lot of good expression and energy in the room. I mean, that happens too. Or like, if a kid comes in and their music's all wrong, we'll just be like, well, just sing Happy Birthday, because it has a nice big octave jump. So, you can hear how well they match pitch and stuff like that, and can stay in the same key and everything. And so, but if they sing really strongly,
Yes.
Is that the word?
It is.
Strongly. If they sing really and confidently, and they have a lot of personality and are real cute, that goes a long way. And there's the dance part of it too. So maybe she went in and danced really well too, and the choreographer saw something that they really liked. There's a lot that goes into casting besides
Just the singing.
Well,
Just
there's
the
more that
singing,
even
yeah.
goes into it than the singing and the dancing, right? Because
Yeah.
there's how actors fit together,
Right. It's all a
for
puzzle piece.
a vision.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have all the talent in the world, but you're not the right look or the right height or, the right hair color. I mean, it could be literally anything. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
That's true.
Does it hurt them if they come in and sing Happy Birthday at all? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say it necessarily hurts, but it's just preferred that you bring in the sheet music and prepare a piece. I cast kids in the show right now that sing Happy Birthday. It just happens, but I would prefer
Sure.
to bring in a piece and be prepared, in something that can be accompanied and everything.
Are there certain songs like you have heard so much you never want to hear again?
There's this whole thing with the overdone singing song. I can't talk today. Oh my god,
that's a good day for it.
There's this whole thing with
Just
the
have some.
overdone list, and to me, if there's a song on the overdone list that you sing really well, then sing it. Just come in and sing what you do really well. I mean, I've heard How Far I'll Go, I've heard Part of Your World, I've heard Million Dreams so many times. But if you come in and it's solid and you're really expressive,
You nail it.
you nail it, then you nail it. I mean, people always say oh, don't sing On My Own from Les Mis. Well, because On My Own from Les Mis has been on the do not sing list for so long, now it's not overdone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Making a comeback.
if you sing On My Own and you nail it, then you did a good job. I mean, I don't know. I guess there is an overdone list, but this is just my preference. I don't care if it's
Yeah.
overdone.
Is there ever a risk to sing something that would be too obscure? Or, have you ever had a kid come in and be like, and sing something and you're like, oh man, where did that even come from? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, it's happened, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, what's that from? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you have the sheet music, can I borrow that?
Snap some pictures.
Scan it into your iPad. But sometimes that happens where somebody will bring something in that I've never heard before, and I'm like, what is that? Like, tell me about that piece, and then that starts a conversation, and you get to know the kid a little better.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not a good song choice,
Right.
they heard the song on the radio and they really liked it, and so they said, I'm gonna sing this song, and then it's like,
Yeah.
Just because you heard it on the radio doesn't mean it's a good fit for you. You know?
Can you see past that? Are there times where that happens, but you like, I see something in that person?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But like if they had good energy in the room and they were really positive, but they still, even though they sang a song that maybe wasn't conducive for their voice, they still like had a lot of expression and a lot of emotion. I may be like, well, let's call them back and see what else they can do. You know, a callback doesn't mean that you're casting the show. The callback doesn't mean that you're not casting the show. It just means the director wants to see more of you. So if they did something like that and I saw something there, but maybe it was the wrong song choice, I may call them back and be like, let's have them sing for this role in the show and just see what they do with it. You know, it just means the director wants to see more from you, at least for me,
For you.
when I'm a director.
Gotcha.
What, you know how we watch these shows like The Voice or whatever, and you hear those people who are the director, they're in that seat, so to speak. They're picking their teams, or they're picking, you know, whether or not they want this person to advance. And they have the comment like, oh, your voice is really unique. We've never heard something like that before. Do you ever find that you get that in these kinds of auditions, or is that
absolutely
really?
Oh, absolutely. Like somebody will come in and you're I can think of a very specific moment right now where they walk in and you've never seen this person before and they just have this voice and you're like, who are you? Where have you been? And like they just have this quality that is so special, and you're like, why have you never been here before? You know?
Yes.
And like, where
And
have
do you want to
been?
take lessons?
Yeah.
Where have you been hiding?
Or, you know, like, why have you never come here before? Like, we need you, you know? And I mean,
Yeah.
that happens a lot. Like, where somebody will just come in and you're like totally blown away by them and you have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated with kids who have done this over and over and over again, and it feels like they're resting on their laurels, like they're not coming
they're phoning it in?
Right. Yeah, like I know I have a song in my back pocket, I'm just going to pull it out and sing it today, and they're not really giving you something new or fresh or the energy you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of the same kids, you know, locally. A lot of the same kids do a lot of shows at the same theaters, and you kind of hope for their sake that they're growing and they're developing and they're, you know, getting better and better all the time. But it can be a little like, well, here they are again, you know, doing the same old. But that, I think it's more of just like, I'm sad for you. Like, I want you to work hard and get better. That's like the teacher in me, like, you know, work harder. But yeah, it happens.
Sure.
It happens.
Yeah. And they probably always feel like, oh, well, I'm going to sing this because I sang it the last 2 times.
But
So I'll
honestly,
sing it again.
it like, I don't have an issue with them singing the same material. I mean, like, there's this whole thing, like, when you go to school for musical theater, you create your audition book, right? You have your songs that, like, and you have your 16-bar cut of that song marked, you have your 32-bar cut of that song marked, and you have, like, at least for when I was in grad school, we would have your up-tempo golden age, your ballad golden age, you have your up-tempo contemporary, your ballad contemporary, your pop rock song, your country song, your Italian art song, or whatever, you know, so that you're covered in all genres of musical theater. And so, I mean, I've taken the same audition songs into multiple auditions, and you kind of create that audition book so that you have something you can just pull out
your
and
arsenal
go.
of-
Yeah.
yeah.
And so just because you sang it for one audition doesn't mean that you can't sing it for another audition, especially if it's a different director. I mean, like, they haven't heard you do it before, you know,
True.
or
Yeah.
your voice has grown and you can pull that song back out and it's even better than it was the first time you did it, you know,
Right.
or you mature and you find new meaning in the lyrics or something, you know, like it's fine to repeat songs, especially if it's something that you've coached with a voice teacher or with a vocal coach or whatever, or even with an acting coach to, you know, work on the emotion. That's gonna set you up for a really solid audition if it's something that you've coached. And I mean, I have my book still, and when I go in and audition for shows, I like, well, we're gonna do this one today, you know, like I'm feeling this one, you know. It gives you like a nice, like, I don't know, like database that you can just pull from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're already prepared.
What advice would you give to kids? Like, we've got some kids that are getting ready to audition for the Performing Arts High School. So there's not necessarily a genre they should be working toward or something like that. How should they be picking an audition cut?
I definitely something age appropriate for sure. Definitely something that shows their personality, because you're looking at wanting to spend 4 years with these same teachers, you know, and you want them to know who you are and and how you're going to work in the school setting. So definitely something that showcases your personality. I'm trying to think. Like I would pick something fun or just has good energy to it, and some, yeah.
So maybe not like a sleepy ballad.
Well, I mean, like if that's what you do best, then do that. You want
Gotcha.
to pick something that's going to showcase your voice,
Okay.
and your personality.
So if you have this big, huge, really, what's the word I'm looking for?
Belty voice.
Yes, belty voice. You're going to want to sing something that maybe gives you that
Yeah, that
opportunity,
shows
that
them
song to
like
blow
this
it
is
out.
my voice. I mean, we're working
Yeah.
on Pinky's audition song right now, and I was like, this song, like some of the lyrics in it, I'm like, I feel like I hear you like just say this in everyday life, like I feel like
Yeah.
this song really showcases you and your uniqueness and how you are, and it just happens to like sit in a really nice spot in her voice, and I'm like, this is your song.
And it's
right?
something they connect to, so that it feels genuine.
It feels very genuine, and because that's the whole thing. You're wanting to show them who you are and that what you can bring to this program. So picking something that you sound great on, that you can connect to, and really show the emotion behind it. I feel like I've said emotion like 400 times.
Oh, but it's important.
But it is important,
It's important, and you're selling it, right?
But also
Like
something like I just can't stress the age appropriateness.
Yeah,
the most,
yeah. Well, emotion's important because in the beginning, I just thought you're going in to sing. They want to hear you sing. I didn't realize that you should be kind of acting as you go.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But not overacting.
Right.
There's that,
Yeah.
that fine line,
assume that
right?
maybe
You
it's
just
not
want it
so
to
fine.
be natural and genuine. Natural
No
and
choreography.
genuine.
Yeah, I don't know if you need choreography.
You do
for
that in
every
your dance.
step
Yeah, you
of
do that
the
in your
song.
dance.
Yeah. Or the
This
hands
word
going.
and then this word and then this word, and we were walking and
Yes, that's indicating.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. No, that's funny. And I'm sure you get kids that come in and do that sort of stuff all the time. You get your super outgoing that probably walk in like they own their room, and
But
they
that
probably,
shows great confidence
Yeah.
too. It's
Yeah.
like that is something that can, with direction, and say, well, let's think about this, and like maybe you don't need to do this here. Maybe that's something you can just show with your face, or do you talk like this? Like in real life?
Do you vote?
Like how would you just say this sentence in real life? Would you? I don't know. Like if I'm thinking about something, I might
You might.
I don't know,
Doolittle.
look down. I don't know,
Yeah.
and like how do you do it naturally in real life? Because like these characters in the show, like they have to be believable as real people or animals sometimes or whatever, and so you want to emulate that in your audition, that you can just be a normal person.
Yeah.
You told me something once because I took a couple of lessons. Two?
I think two. Yeah.
Yeah, with you, and you told me something that really kind of like resonated with me about how when these characters are like singing in their musical, right? The reason why they're singing is because they were having a conversation, and it just naturally went into a song, and that you had to kind of carry it that way. Like the only way they could express the way they were feeling was through that song.
Right, they become too filled with emotion just to talk about it anymore. They got to sing about it.
Yes.
And that the song is just a continuation of the dialogue, right? Like we're already having this conversation, and now we're just going to sing this conversation. So it's like, or I mean, even if the character's singing by themselves, like, and it's a solo and there's no one else on stage, they're still like either talking to themselves, they're talking to the audience, they're or they're expressing a want for something. There's still some kind of dialogue that's going on.
Yeah, it's like, I guess just, making sure that you understand that dialogue and that lead up is continuing even though you're singing, and that connection has to be maintained.
We call that the moment before a lot in musical theater, especially if you're going to do an audition cut. Knowing that moment before of what springboards this character into this song. Like what is happening that makes them say these words. And sometimes you can do that. I've done it before where I will like hear a question in my head, and then boom, I'm in that emotion. I'm responding to the question, or like, well, what do you want? Well, I want, like I'll hear the question in my head. I'll hear the question, and then I'm like, I'm reacting to whatever, moment before, whatever it is, or and, like I've done some cool like master classes before, like when I was in grad school, where they will, when you're coaching a song, they'll put someone else up there with you to like for you to interact with before you start to sing, and then they're like go, and you're like in this whole it changes the everything about the song, because now you have that scene partner there. So then you just take the scene partner away, but imagine them there, and boom, you're in it. You know,
that's
like
who
that question.
You're talking to, and different parts of the song. You may be speaking with your friend, and you're trying to tell them something or give them a message, and then okay, now you're not angry at them anymore, and now you're just trying to get onto the other side of the conversation. But I guess when you go in an audition, you're only doing those 16 bars to just give it, and
you have to tell
come
a
across flat.
3-hour musical in 16 bars.
Exactly.
You have to get that whole character across in that 16 bars. Yeah.
Are adult auditions typically 16 bars, or do they do 32?
Usually, I feel like it just depends on the show and the director. I feel like majority of the time it's 62. 62. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Now I can really show that 3-hour
Usually
connection.
it's 16. Sometimes though, like I've been to auditions like over at Disney where they have like these big catcall auditions where they have hundreds of people there, and they cut you down to 8 bars. You get like 4 words out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
next.
I mean, that's what usually in that situation they're looking for a specific type, a certain height or something. They're trying to fill one spot, but they don't tell you that beforehand. And then there's 400 people there trying to be in the Finding Nemo musical, and you go in and sing your 8 bars, and they're like, you're female.
I'm thinking, why didn't you just tell us that?
But sometimes though, you never know. They may like keep your headshot and resume for something else. You never know. I mean, it's just that exposure. You learn from it. I mean,
yeah.
So what should a kid do if they get in there and they like flub a note, or their voice cracks, or just keep plowing through and act like nothing happened?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
Don't let it frazzle you.
Show must go on.
Well, and the same thing really is like if you're in the callback, because you're learning a new piece from the show. I think the directors probably, and the musical director is probably hoping that you have at least listened to the music before you get in there, but
your homework,
it doesn't always happen. So you get in there and you're hearing this music for the first time, and then you have to perform it. You do a little bit of rehearsal and then you perform. So like their hope is that even if you do flub it, and they understand that can happen, it might happen, it probably would happen. You just gotta, how are you going to like respond to that? And
What's
keep
your
going
recovery look like?
Yes, exactly.
What's your ability?
Like how believable are you?
Yeah. We just say stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Just keep going. And then like if it really fell apart, we may ask you like, do you want to try that again? Like sometimes directors are nice, and that's like something I always tell the kids too, is like the people in the room are on your side, right? Like they're not sitting behind the table like hoping that you're horrible, right? Because if you come in and you're great, that makes their job a whole lot easier, right? Like we're looking for this character, and you walk in the room and you're just like great, they want that, right? So like that, like I always tell kids when they're really nervous that, right? Like they're on your side. They're not sitting there hoping that you're terrible, they want you to be good. And like that sometimes will calm them down a little bit, to know that they're your cheerleader. They want you to be great. But also like half the time they're not really even thinking about the audition. Like I'm thinking, how many more kids do we gotta listen to?
Right.
Is my Jimmy John's gonna get here on time?
I've heard this song 20 times today.
Like half the time we're like, oh yeah, like when's our next break? I mean, like they're not even like
completely laser focused on you.
No, like we're just doing our job. We're just listening to kids and figuring it out as we go. Like we're not sitting there being like, wow, I really hope this kid is horrible today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I definitely don't want them in my show. I hope they can't match pitch. Like, we want you to be great.
No, yeah.
At least me as a director.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe some other directors. I mean, there are those directors that, like, I mean, especially in the professional world, I've gone into some auditions where, like, you walk in the room, you hit your X, you talk to the music director, hit your X, and they never once even look up and acknowledge that you're in the room. And you sing, and they just go, thank you. Never even, like,
so there's like no feedback.
No, I
nothing.
mean, like there are directors like that out there, but I don't know. I feel like I at least for me, I'm just go you. You came and you tried. Good job.
Yep.
You should be proud of yourself for even showing up.
It's half the battle, right?
But they 9 times out of 10, like the director wants you to be good, right? They're not saying they're hoping you're bad.
Yeah, that you're gonna fail. I know when our kids go in, I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I'm like, okay, how did it go, Gabs? And she's like, it went great. I'm like, okay, well, they say anything? no, they just said I did a good job. I'm like, okay, and then moves on and life is good,
Yeah. We also don't have time to
there's no,
when you have 100
feedback.
kids signed up for an audition, you don't have time to talk with every single one, unless it's like something like, if I see something on their audition form or their resume or something where I'm like, oh, you did this show with this person? Oh, tell me about that, or like, or I see like, oh, you go to a certain school. Oh, my parents teach at that school. Do you know? So my dad, there's things that come up, or if they have on their conflict sheet, like they're going to be gone the whole week of Thanksgiving. And I'm like, we're definitely going to have rehearsals because we only have 23. Like, are these like, are you going out of state? Are you going to be local? Like, it's on your conflict.
Right.
Is this negotiable? Things like, I'll bring up some stuff like that in audition. But for the most part, like, if they come in and it's great, we're like, good
Thanks.
job, go dance, or if you've already danced, go home,
So we don't want parents to think that just because their kids come out and there's not feedback, that doesn't mean that they did a bad job.
Well, that's the hard part, right? Because you, as a parent, you're not there for the audition. You didn't get to see how it is. You only have your kids' feedback, which, sometimes it's, yeah, I did great, or I think I did really good. And sometimes it's, I sucked. And I was horrible. And I've seen kind of the gambit come home after an audition and not being in the room. If she like didn't get cast for something, we're going, well, what happened? Because the general feedback that we hear is so limited, it's hard for us to get a gauge. And then how do we help our kid do better on the next one when we don't have that feedback,
Right. The more prepared you are, the better, right? Like with the song and, and just like taking dance classes and, just immersing yourself into the theater as much as possible is all good. It's all good experience. But also sometimes when you don't get cast, it has nothing to do with talent. It's just like how the puzzle pieces worked out. In the director's vision. So many times it's like, well, we only have these boys, because there's way more girls in musical theater than boys at this age. We have these boys, and these are where these boys have to go. Now, where do the girls fit? And who matches height wise and things like that. So there, sometimes it's just that simple. It's just how it's just sometimes it has nothing to do with their talent. It has nothing to do with their audition. It just is like, well, I know that I need this person here and this person here, and it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's just like it just wasn't your turn. And I had a really great a mentor and professor that would tell us, like, don't think of it as a no, think of it as a not now. And like this wasn't this, like, you didn't, like, it's not a no, it just means this wasn't your opportunity. Right. Your opportunity is down the line, And then I had another who I love so much. I had gotten a really big rejection, and I was really upset about it because I really wanted it. But he told me, he said, rejection hurts, or rejection stings, but McFlurries are cheap. That's great. So if it, like, feel the emotion, but then
move on,
pick yourself up, like have a scoop of ice cream and move about your day. It's just not the right time for you in that. And then you may get something that's 10 times better than what that opportunity would have been, so it's just, you never know.
Yeah, it's hard to know, and it's not even a religious thing necessarily, but the universe sometimes just puts up blockers because it's not your time.
It's not your time.
And we've seen that our fair share in the last couple of years in the Gillette household. But it all kind of works out the way it was meant to work out.
Right.
And so, maybe you didn't get that role that time, but did you get it later?
Right.
Yeah, you don't understand it in the moment.
Grad school.
Right, exactly.
I didn't get into a grad school that I really was wanting to go to. And then I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be with the best voice teacher. Like, she was truly like, she still is. I love her. I talk to her all the time. But she is like was just like a godsend to my life. She changed my voice and made me realize how much I love vocal pedagogy, and like she is still one of my biggest supporters, and she's just wonderful. I named my wig after her in Beauty and the Beast because
Did you tell her that?
Yeah.
I love it.
Everyone in the cast knew Barbara.
Yes.
But like,
I love it.
and I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be. I was so upset about not getting into that one school, but then I got into this one, and just, she changed my whole world. I had a pretty rough experience in undergrad, and not to talk bad about
That's
Well,
okay.
it happens.
where I went
Yeah.
to school
It's
or my
okay.
teacher,
It
but
shaped you,
my
you
voice
know?
teacher there, it was not a good fit, and I really needed someone like the teacher that I had in Oklahoma, and she just changed my whole world. But you know, things work out the way they're supposed to.
And you can't always see it in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But when you
for
get on
sure.
the other side of it and something different happens, you're like, oh, now I understand why that happens. And like you said, everything you do is a good experience, is a learning experience. You can take something from it, positive or negative, and use it to grow.
Well, yeah, and the fact that you are now teaching means you can take that knowledge and that experience
Oh,
that
yeah,
you have and just
absolutely.
help other kids kind of work through theirs.
Yeah, talk about paying it forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara did this
Yeah.
for you, and now think about all of these kids.
I talk
and
about her in
people.
every lesson that I teach. I think I'm like, my voice teacher did this and blah blah blah. You know, like,
Does she still teach? Or?
yeah, she's still at the college. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, this is how important you are in our family. Lily Kate tells me all the time that if and when she gets to the Tonys, you're her +1. She's like, Mom, you don't get to go. Jordan's going with me. I'm like, well, that's messed up.
Well, and
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm definitely going to go with her. I would gladly take that ticket.
Nice. In our family, I
We'll get
think
tickets, don't
it's
worry.
changed how, like, Parvati's direction. I think she obviously would still want to perform, but I think she's actually leaning more towards, I want to teach. I want to be like Jordyn when I grow up. Yeah, I hear that a lot in
That's
our
so
house.
sweet. You're very
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah, you're changing lives.
You're their
You
mentor.
are.
Yeah,
Well, because
please
she
know
goes
that.
to school in a pretty musical theater heavy school program, and so she hears a lot of these kids who don't have lessons, who don't have a vocal instructor teaching them how to protect their voice. And she's like, she'll come home sometimes in the car and she's like, oh, this kid in my class, and she would even say names. It doesn't mean anything to me because I don't know these kids. And she's like, oh, I just feel so bad because they're just wrecking their voice and they need to do this and this and this, but I don't feel like I can be the one to tell them, and which is true, but it just shows that she's learning from you and kind of setting that foundation up for her to be a teacher.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
That made me cry.
Oh, no, you're
They're
doing great
special
things.
kids. But
Speaking of making you cry, it's a little bit off the subject, but we got to see Mary Poppins last night with some of your
Oh.
amazing students. How does that feel to sit in the audience and watch
Oh.
these kids?
Oh gosh.
yeah, man.
Pride, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I actually texted my student that played Mary Poppins last night, and I said, I have retyped this text message so many times because I just don't know like how to express how I'm feeling right now. Just a joy to sit in the theater and just to just witness their skills and their abilities, and it's really special, really special. She's amazing.
Oh, you may have to sing to her.
But
You'll
like
have to
all
send her
of
a
them are amazing, and they all are individually so special to me, each and every one of them. But I texted her and I was like, I have typed this out so many times and then backspace and retyped it because I just don't know how to express like how it feels to sit there and watch your student like excels.
Kill it.
Like just
Yeah,
Absolutely kill
killed
it.
I was like hoarse when
Yeah.
I went home last night because we were just cheering so loudly for her.
Yes.
I mean,
And she is
I-
so humble and just
Yeah.
unassuming. And when you tell her she did a great job, she's like, "Really, me?" Like, and you're like, "Yes, like you are so great." And I think she's gonna end up pursuing musical theater as well. So that's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she should. That is a
Yeah,
gift
we don't need to
from
be
God.
deprived of her. She
No,
needs to.
no, no.
She needs to
Yeah.
do that. It's clear
Yeah.
that's her
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah, I know how I feel just watching these kids that just for the past, I guess, 3 or 4 years we've watched grow up. I didn't
Yeah.
teach them anything, but they feel like our kids because we've done so much with them. And it's so fun to watch the progression and them getting bigger roles and hearing their voices. It's
Yeah,
just,
when they come off the stage after a performance like that and you're waiting for them, you're just like,
Yes.
they're excited to see you too because they see, you're not their parent, but they see another adult in their corner kind of backing them up, and cheering them on. And that's, that's important. Like without that, these kids don't do what they do.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, well, she's gonna have a million doors opening for her, and
She's already had some, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She went to the Jimmys last year.
oh my
she's
gosh, that was so fun.
amazing.
Talk about like
Oh,
a whirlwind of emotion. I was
Yeah, you were
I
there.
was like uncontrolled. Well, I don't even know. Like I was a mess. We were supposed to, we had all these plans the next day to go and do in New York City, and I was like, I can't. I need to just like lay here for a minute because I was like so like emotional. I was like on an emotional high, and I was like, I just like, I feel like honestly, like when I talk about it, I still like feel
Flutter.
the same like high from that whole night. It was wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Oh, you're doing amazing things, and
thank you.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could have heard this before we went into our first audition, and hope that helps other parents that are.
Yeah,
trying
well, I
to
mean,
get
that's
in.
kind of why
Yeah.
we talked about, starting the Drama Mamas even, 6-8 months ago or whatever. It was like all of the things that we wish we would have known before we went in to our first audition, or even our 10th, knowing what we know now, and there's still that much more stuff that we have to learn. And we're very appreciative of you coming on the show to like talk with us about that and help share that knowledge,
Yeah.
because it's so important.
It is, and and I feel like there's not enough resources out there like to like prepare you, and I feel like we need to do some like audition workshops or something
Yes.
To give people even more help and
that would be
and,
fantastic.
and more direction with these kinds of things. Because I mean, truly, like just picking a song can make or break your whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
now
it's a
come-
workshop for the kids or a workshop for the parents
Yeah.
too, because we're the ones that are supposed to be kind of leading the way, and the kids look to us like we know everything, which
Clueless.
we don't. There's no handbook.
It's not what to
Not at
expect when
all.
you're auditioning book.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like the
goodness.
auditions for dummies or something? Like
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That would be fantastic. I know when Gabs had one of her auditions, I don't know, third show or whatever. I think we decided it was Miracle, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, she came out and I was like, how'd it go? And she's like, well, she had me like start and then, I had to stop and start over again. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, did you miss a word? She's like, no, but she asked me who prepared me. And I was like, oh, did you tell her it was your mom who doesn't know anything about anything? She's like, I told her it was my mom that did it. And she just smiled. And I was like, okay. So, clearly I didn't know what I was doing.
But you know what? In that moment, I mean, I wasn't. I was in that show, but I wasn't a
Yeah.
part of that team.
Yeah.
In that moment, it could have been that she did a really great job, and they were just wondering if she had a voice teacher, and like because whoever the pianist was for that, like, is probably friends with a lot of people in our community and wanted to know like, oh, is this so and so student, or like oh, I need like they were really great. I want to tell them like that their student did a good job. It could have been something like
Yeah.
that, and not even like
was horrible.
oh, your mom helped you.
It must have been good because she got the part. So.
Yeah.
And she was
But like
amazing.
it easily could have just been like a situation like that where they're like because we, especially in our community, like a lot of us work in the same circles, so we know everybody. We know like I know a lot of other voice teachers. I know their students. They know mine. Like we all like work in these same circles. So it really could have just been that she was just wondering if she took voice lessons and with who, and if she knew her teacher or whatever, because she was impressed. You know what I mean?
Maybe she was. Yeah, I took it like, oh, great.
The other way.
So sorry,
Yeah.
Gabs. I totally took it.
Of course we take it negatively.
Of course we do, because that's just
that's
our
what
human
we do.
nature.
Yeah, I think it is human nature.
Yeah.
You just kind of go that direction at first, but yeah, it's funny. I mean, these kids, they're stuck with us. Just the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
We'll help you through it.
We know, and you have so much already. We're so incredibly
But
grateful.
like I started out completely clueless too. I mean, like I said at the beginning, like my parents put me in all sports camps. Like I mean, I did golf camp, I did swimming camp, I did cooking camp, I did.
But there were signs all along the way,
The
right?
whole
yeah.
time I'm giving them all the signs that like I am not supposed to be at
goodness.
soccer today. I am supposed to be singing. I mean,
Yeah.
like we got a new refrigerator one time, and I took the cardboard box and like turned it into a set. Like I painted it and like decorated it, and then put on a performance on the driveway. And I'm like, still no theater camp, But like my mom was an athlete, so she didn't know. Like she didn't even know that theater
She didn't know the
existed. I mean, my
studio.
dad sings, and I've been really blessed and fortunate to be able to perform with him a few times, but and hopefully more in the future. I mean, that's really special when you get to do that. But still, he didn't know. Like he sang in the church choir and stuff, but he didn't know that it existed, and so I never did theater camp. So when I went. I did Cinderella, which was at my school. I did Cinderella, and then right after that, I went and auditioned for when we did Beauty and the Beast the first time, and I had a call back for Silly Girl. Well, I'd never done a cold read before. Never. And I was sick. I was really sick, and I just was like, I'd say the line, and then I'd be like, like I would just like laugh at myself. I would like say the line, and I didn't get cast in that show. You know what I mean? So I was completely clueless when I started too. And I mean, even like I think back because I auditioned for the Performing Arts High School and I didn't get in, and which we can talk about that another day. but there's probably still some bitterness in here. I mean, all these years later.
Okay.
Well, now I teach there, so anyway, full circle. But anyway. But like I think back to that audition because I'm like, how did you not get in, Jordyn? Like, what did you do in that audition? And I think about it, and I'm like, well, I sang a song from Cinderella because that's all I had done at that point, and so I sang a song from Cinderella, and then I was like, I think back on it, and I'm like, did I do my full blocking that I had done in the show? Was I the 2, 4, 6, 8 indicate? You know what I mean? Like, did I do the full blocking with my invisible broom and stuff? Like, you know, like, did I do that? Is that why I didn't get in? You know, I think back on it. I mean, but I was completely clueless too. Like until I, went to the other high school and then started doing show choir and all the shows and stuff. And then I just grew and learned. And then you learn so much when you get a BFA in musical theater and in college and stuff. But I mean, we all kind of start in that same, unless you have like a parent who like did Broadway for a living or went to school for musical theater or something like that. Like you all kind of start in that same boat of I like this. How do I do that?
Right. How do we get there?
Yeah. How do we do it?
And that's part of what our platform is all about. How do we educate and promote musical
Well, we can
theater
see that our kids have glitter in their veins, and
absolutely.
we understand that's where they need to be, but we don't know how to get them there.
Right. We're trying.
Yeah.
And you said something that brought up another question I have. Like, what do you do, because I'm facing this today, when your child is sick and they have an audition?
They always say, like, don't tell the director that you're sick, because 9 times out of 10 we can tell that you're sick, right? When you come in the room, we can hear the congestion in your voice, or we can hear if it's scratchy or raspy or whatever. So you don't have to tell them. They'll take that into consideration. I mean, they'll know like when you walk in the door that you're sick. But I mean, just doing all the things, so all the things that we always do with the tea and the honey and vocal rest. I mean, if you've got a raspy voice, just total silence. I mean, no, and whispering's the worst thing you can do. Right, that's because then you're really, now we're going to get vocal pedagogy going.
There we go. And I know what that word means now.
Explain that though, because I didn't know that.
Whispering's the worst. You're not sending enough breath through the cords to make them vibrate at the correct frequency. It gets really sciencey here, but, it's like the worst thing you could do. You want to fully support your voice. So like if you're raspy, just silence.
Nothing. So it's all or nothing.
Yeah, like
Gotcha.
Silence or fully support your voice. But I mean, just like steaming and gurgle salt water for your throat, like like all that kind of stuff that you would normally do if you're sick. It's the same thing as a singer.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
you just. If you have time to prepare, then maybe you can pick a different audition cut that maybe is a little lower and a little more obtainable, or something that you can still go in and do. But if not, just
Go for it.
go for it.
Smile through it.
Man, those handheld humidifiers are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gas
I saw
up.
somebody at the theater in the last show I was kind of backstage for, and they were feeling kind of under the weather, and they'd gotten one of those, and they talked about how great it was for them, and like, it was really helping. I had no idea.
Yeah, you can get them right at CVS or whatever. And,
Yeah. They have like different
it's
tiers. Some are
perfect.
better than others, and some are more expensive than others by a lot. But yeah, we do like the Thieves cough drops. I get them
Those
off
are
of
great.
Amazon, and yeah, Pinky seems to like swear by those. There's like those gummies.
What are those called? Grether pastilles? I don't know.
Something like that.
Something like, I can't remember the exact pronunciation. You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
But those were great. Those got me through Sister Act. But
Yeah.
And the Thieves cough drops got me through Miracle.
Oh.
I was so sick
remember
during
you were
Miracle.
sick,
I was
yes.
so sick.
That's
And I had to sing all those high C those.
Oh, that's right.
yes.
Yeah, we were kind of
Yes.
put onto the drops or whatever, and those didn't go over quite as well as the actual cough drops
The
have done.
Thieves cough drops are great.
Yeah.
The spray's good, too.
Yeah, that blue stuff.
Yes.
I forget what that was
I
called
can't
now.
remember. We
Somebody
have
when
it.
we were over at Winter Haven doing a show over there had put us on that. And
I love those little gummy things.
Yeah.
But also just like gummy bears are good for your voice. You just suck on those. The
Oh, that's
glycerin
good to
coats your
know.
cords.
Yeah. Oh,
The
okay.
glycerin, yeah.
Perfect. All right,
Yeah,
we'll try
that's why there's always gummy bears before the shows.
Yeah,
I
backstage.
introduced everybody to that.
But there's like the specific ones. Like it's not
you
like
have
go
to
get the
good
Harborough
kind.
ones or
yeah,
whatever.
you gotta get the good kind from Target.
Okay.
The good
It's
kind.
like the white bag.
What is the
I
good
think
kind?
you can get them everywhere, but I just always get them at
Is it the
Target.
Haribo ones?
No.
No, those are the ones that give you the poops.
These are the red and
They
white.
do.
The
Are
they
red and
different
white
colors?
bag.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I don't know
They have
about
like
that.
a Marshall's
Does
cat
it start
checkout.
with the A?
It starts with
Yeah,
an A.
it's
Yep.
a white bag.
Yep, I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking.
They're the
Okay,
best.
we'll be stopping on the way
You should
today.
have seen
Yes.
backstage during Mamma Mia. We had the trap Verna back there, you know, the where the pit chorus would sing and stuff, and where everybody would sing when they weren't on stage, and we had like a snack box over there. Like we just turned it into a whole clubhouse, and
awesome.
I put decorations up. It was really fun. But anyway, everybody would bring in stuff to contribute to the snack box back there, and it was I can't remember how many, but people brought in the bigger bags of those gummy bears, and by the end of it, we took a picture because we kept all the bags, because we were like, maybe we can send it to the company and they'll like sponsor us or something. And,
Like the spent bags, like you
Right.
empty.
Like the
yeah, the empty
ones.
bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a picture of all the empty bags of those gummy bears, and we were like, maybe we could send it and get sponsored, and they'll send us free gummy bears.
I wonder if they even know that you guys use it like that.
I don't know, but I don't.
Can't hurt to tell them.
Look,
I
we'll
didn't
tell
do
our
it.
producer.
I think I might
hey,
have the
tag
picture actually.
Yeah, we
tag
need
that
to tag
maker
those
and like
bears.
let them know like, hey, there's a hidden use for these.
Right.
Like, you may not be
I
on
think
marketing
there was
tool.
like I that was a 3-weekend run of that show. I think I can't
Yes.
even remember.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
bag.
What was the
a
big summer
stack.
show?
It was a stack of the, and not the little bag. It was the big bags.
Yeah.
There was
The
stacks of
5-pounders.
them. Yeah,
Handfuls, I'm sure.
We went through some gummy bears
Wow.
for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. All these tricks of the trade. You know?
And there's that drink. You got to get that drink on the way out.
Yeah, that medicine ball.
Yeah,
Yes.
medicine ball.
Which
What is it?
Explain that to our
Yeah.
listeners what that is.
Oh, I didn't even know about it until I was in grad school, and I would hear like the other music theater people or the vocalists talking about, oh, you got to get the medicine ball from Starbucks. And I think what it is it's like a honey citrus mint tea or something like that, but they do it with steamed lemonade instead of water. And so then you have the lemon that cuts through, you know, and then you add honey and a shot of peppermint.
Ooh.
And so it's a weird concoction. It smells weird. It tastes weird, but it like just soothes everything in here. Yeah.
We're going to
great.
hit that on the way
It's
out.
great.
We're
But,
gonna
like,
go get some
sometimes-
gummies and a...
Yeah, sometimes if you just order a medicine ball, they know exactly what it is and they make it for you. But sometimes you have to tell them the steps.
This one with this
yeah,
in it.
but like at school, we had a Starbucks on campus, and like we would just all roll through. Give me a medicine ball, and they just whip them up.
Like, all right.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
All right, well, you have been amazing, but we have a couple questions we want to ask before we wrap up. Some
Uh,
guest questions.
yes, some
First
guest
of all,
questions.
Is this like rapid fire?
no. It's just, now that we know about you, but others know about you,
Yeah.
what is your dream role?
I feel like I have a couple for like different reasons.
Well, that's okay. Share 'em.
But my number one dream role is Mother in Ragtime. That is up there in my like top favorite shows. And I love that character. I love that show. That is my dream role, probably more so than others. Like that is the top. But also, I really love the new Broadway revival of Company. They
yeah.
gender swapped some of the characters, and to play Bobby in that would be so
Yes.
incredible as well. And that's Stephen Sondheim music, which is amazing. But also, I'm not old enough yet, but I would love to play Francesca in Bridges of Madison County. That music is just, that score is so beautiful. I don't know. Yeah, those are all like more serious.
it.
I
Yeah.
tend to play funny, but I'm like,
Yeah.
let me play something serious. I don't know.
Okay,
That's
so we
good.
did. I always loved when we would do like themes for Mic Check, and one of my favorite ones was like a role that you'll never have. Sing something from that. You remember when we did that?
Uh-huh.
It was like during Beauty and the Beast Mic Checks.
They're
What's-
like a performance in themselves.
I know they're my
It's
favorite.
amazing.
I'm sure anybody that watched that would know. It was my favorite moment that nobody saw except for the cast.
Yeah.
So what's a role that you wish and you know you'd never have, but it like tops that list?
I always say this. I don't know why, but I would love to be Roger in Rent. I don't know why. It's like so different than who I am as a person. I don't know. I'm just like, and I,
Well, maybe that's the
I'm
appeal.
like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
like-
like sing like One Song Glory and anyway. But Roger and Rent. But that's like my funny one. But I would also like something like one of those iconic male roles, like Jean Valjean and Les Mis, or like George and Sunny in the Park with George, or any of those would be really pretty cool. But that'll never happen unless we gender swap
That's
like
right.
company. You
Could
know,
happen.
That's right.
You never
It could
know.
happen.
Sometimes people get
Anything can
experimental.
happen.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can't happen, but
Yeah.
maybe it could.
Yeah, I don't see me playing Roger and Rent anytime soon.
I think, Jordyn, I think one of your most awesome qualities that you bring, and I pray that people not only listen to us, but they get to like video and they're watching us, is when you are talking about theater and you're talking about these kids, gosh, it makes me like a little teary. You just exude this like passion, and oh my gosh, it's just wonderful, and it's
You light up.
palpable. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
you
if
do
y'all
light
can
up.
feel it, but yeah, and you bring
I
that
do
with
love it.
you. You know, when you're at the theater and you're with the kids and you're doing what you're doing, you can totally tell you're doing what you love, and that's how you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Well, I always tell people, I'm like, I have the best job. I mean, I really do feel like I do have the best job. And no day is the same. I see different kids every day. I teach different classes every day, and so it keeps it fresh and exciting. And there's always a new show. There's always something new to work on, and there's always new kids who audition, and you meet new people, and like you create this theater family, and it's just I
absolutely.
just love it so much. It is my whole world.
Oh, well, we can tell that, and we are so honored to be part of that world.
Oh yeah,
100%.
definitely.
So, yeah. So you know.
Okay, what's the next one? We've got
What's an embarrassing moment? An embarrassing theater moment, like on stage or auditioning or something.
So my senior year of high school, we were doing Footloose, and I was playing Rusty, and I have a lot of hair, and they this has nothing to do with it, but I have a lot of hair, and it was just as long then as it is now, and this has nothing to do with, why am I telling you? But they made me sleep into like sponge rollers, and then we picked my hair out, so I had like the full like 80s big hair. Anyway, so I was that Rusty, if you know, is like over the top energy, so fun, and my hair was just as big as my like
Your personality.
the character, you know, and I had a quick change, and I ran off stage, did the quick change, and then was running back onto the stage. Like I ran off, changed into my little cheerleading outfit, grabbed my textbooks. It was like a hallway scene, and was running back onto the stage, like just running to get on the stage. And some little freshman or somebody was not where they were supposed to be, and they were sitting in the wing, and I didn't even see them. Like I was running to make my entrance because I was supposed to be skipping on with my textbooks, and they were sitting in the wing, and I just ate it. I mean, I fell onto the stage.
Oh my gosh.
I fell onto the
my
stage.
gosh.
There was like set pieces in the wings too, and then you hear it was like the bar table from the Burger Blast or whatever, and all those bar stools. You hear ka-dunk, 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 and I am face planting onto the stage, and the textbooks go flying, and then I just picked up my books and just kept on skipping,
Like it was part of it.
just kept going. But that was pretty embarrassing. When I did Cinderella, I had a quick change into the wedding dress from the rags to the wedding dress at the end of the show, and I actually wore my mom's wedding dress from the 90s.
That's cool.
And so I mean, it was probably not period appropriate, but like I was in my mom's big poofy sleeve wedding dress, and when I ran off, they went to like pull it together in the back to zip it, and the zipper like went.
oh, like they do.
And so I did the whole wedding with my whole back out, like of the dress. And of course, I was like, when I was in middle school, I was like so embarrassed, and I was like, oh my god. And so then somebody said, well, it certainly looked like Cinderella did not want to bury the prince. I guess I was not covering it well. But my whole back was open. Yeah, that was a costume mishap. But I can't think. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's so many more stories.
Well, you're going to be back, so you can tell us more.
I'll have to think of some
about
more.
it.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to jump to the question that I had that got added to this list. Have you earned any nicknames in the theater, and how did you get them?
I do have a nickname. So well, Miss Jordyn is my number one nickname, right?
Yes.
Everybody calls me Miss Jordyn. But so I was doing my first show at the theater, and I was a new kid, right? So I didn't really know anyone, and like I didn't really talk to anyone because I was like the new person in the cast and everything. And so it was Tech Week, and we were figuring out. Oh, it was Chicago, right? We were doing Chicago, and I was one of the Mary Murderesses in that, and we were figuring out where the ensemble we were going to stand, like in the bandstand of the set during the big courtroom scene at the end. And our assistant choreographer at the time, he's kind of a jerk. But he's not around anymore,
Right.
so it's okay.
It's okay.
Actually, I have no idea where he is in life. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's okay.
so he was kind of a jerk, and he would always mix people's names up, and just didn't. I don't think he really cared to learn anyone's names. This is the only time I've had an experience like this in this area. But anyway, he looked at me to tell me to go stand somewhere, and he went, Trudy.
Oh no.
And he called me Trudy. Yeah. And like, I didn't know anyone in this cast, but they all knew my name was not Trudy. And so everybody like turns and they were like looking at me, and I was like, me? And he was like, yeah, Trudy, go stand over there. And I was like, so then like the whole cast just started calling me Trudy, and like now like, you know, a lot of those people aren't around anymore, but the people who are still around from, that was 2012, so it's been like 10 years, like 10 years later, the people that are still around still call me Trudy. And then it's like caught on, and like other
Just
people
stuck.
who weren't even involved in that call me Trudy. And so, you know, I went to a New Year's party one time, and I had never met the person I was going with. Who was hosting the party. I was going with someone to this party, and I show up, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Trudy!" And I'm like, "That's me," you know. Or like now that my dad does stuff at the theater, they're always like, "You're Trudy's dad," you know. And like,
my gosh.
so yeah,
That's
Trudy.
kind of funny.
It has. I don't know how you get Trudy from Jordyn, but
Yeah, it works.
oh, and
Yeah,
my kindergarten
hey.
class right now, they're all calling me Miss Abigail.
Abigail.
And I don't know
Where
why.
do they come from?
I don't know why. And they're like 5, so I don't have the heart to be like, it's Jordyn. You know what I mean? I'm just
Totally different.
I'm like, yeah, but I have no idea why I'm Miss Abigail to my kindergarten class. So I guess maybe we can count that as a nickname.
Sure.
Yeah,
My
no.
kindergarten alter ego is Miss Abigail.
Miss Abigail.
Probably from a storybook or something.
I have no idea.
I know.
All
It's
right,
kind
well,
of
we
funny,
probably
actually.
should wrap up, you think?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can. Unless, Jordyn, do you have any questions for us or
Ooh.
anything that like
You want to turn that around?
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Oh my
I don't
God,
know.
I don't
Why
know.
not? That could be fun. Or, you know, because we're still kind of new on our
Like any
journey.
advice?
Yeah, any advice or any topics that you would like to hear us talk about or anything that you think
man.
is fitting. I don't know. I totally just sprung that on you, but
I think you guys are
Can't
doing
hurt.
a great job with this. I really do. I think it's really beneficial and informative for our community and for other parents and kids that are trying to get involved. No, I just think I'm really excited about this for you guys, and I think there's great things ahead. I don't know. I feel really good about it for you.
We're so grateful
Aw,
that you came
thank
on
you.
today.
Yeah,
And you- oh my gosh.
absolutely.
And for your dad to like be sitting in that.
Yes.
We went and got lunch or whatever with you, and he came, and him sitting at the end of the table as we all just kind of bantered together, and you were a part of that. And him to just sit back and go, y'all, this should be a podcast. And after 6 or 8 months of us
Yes.
going, yeah, we should do that, it was kind of like lighting a fire. So it's your whole family,
Aw.
honestly, that just
That
like
started that.
propels us forward in so many ways, and we're so grateful for that.
Yeah, my dad's pretty cool.
He is a pretty cool guy. We kind of like him.
He's pretty cool. My mom's cool too. She's just not into theater. My mom and my brother are not. They'll come and support,
Yes.
but
Yes, they do.
It's not
Not
their
their
thing.
thing.
They're like they would much rather be at the Gator game,
Right.
You know? Which I enjoy that too. But
Right.
they're much more into sports. For the beach, my mom likes.
Yeah,
the
she
beach.
does like the beach. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, can't blame her. It's a good thing too, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of
That's all
things.
good.
I don't know. I don't think I have any questions.
That's okay.
Be thinking,
You
because you're
don't have
coming
to.
back. You're coming
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to come back. This is fun.
This is great. Thank
Just
you so
listen
much.
to me rant about.
I
my
know,
life
it's
and-
wonderful.
And how much I love theater.
Yeah, no, it's a
Oh,
great
and we
topic.
can't wait to have you on again for kind of the next picking your brain session.
Yeah, happy
Because we
to
stayed
help.
pretty focused on this one, but you have a very diverse theater background and experience, so like to draw on. So like Yeah.
So
We
many
have
other topics.
So many questions for you about other topics.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
just
Ask
unpack.
away.
Yeah.
Open book.
Oh, we
Well,
love
we
that.
should thank our listeners for
Absolutely.
checking us out.
Yeah,
and
we heard from some of you last night at Mary Poppins.
Yes,
who
we
were, like,
did.
super
That was
encouraging,
pretty
and we
cool.
loved it, and
We
gave
love our
us some
theater
ideas.
family.
So thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And thank our production team.
Yeah, go Chris.
Go Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
And all his social media assistants too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But find us on the Drama Mama Show online, and we will check you out on the next one.
We forgot to introduce ourselves.
Ah, crap.
Let's start over. I'm Angela.
Yeah.
We forget to do that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many, I'm curious how many people actually watch the podcast versus how many listen to it. Because, I think a lot of I'm not a big podcast listener, but, I think a lot of our experience has been
all I listen
when I'm
to.
driving in the car and, listening to it there. So, you don't watch. You shouldn't watch anyway while you drive.
No, you shouldn't.
I listen to a ton of podcasts. I mean, I think it's because I'm so surrounded by music all day long, with teaching voice and everything. I sit in the car. I drive in either silence, which is totally lame, or I listen to podcasts because I'm I just need a break from
Yeah.
music.
What kind of podcast do you listen to?
Oh, dear.
Are you one of those murder people?
No.
Oh, I am. Wait, what is it?
I love The Bachelor,
Oh my
Bachelorette,
gosh.
Bachelor in Paradise.
And they
I
have
love the
podcasts for that?
franchise.
Yes.
They have so
They
many.
do, like Nick Vile. Can you
Yes.
just say
Oh
his name?
yeah. I
They have
listen to
podcasts?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the
And they
Vile
have-
Files,
Uh-huh.
Bachelor Party,
So
Almost
good.
Famous.
No.
I listen to all of them, and they're all recaps of the episode that I already watched. But,
so much fun.
but they also, Kathy and I really are into this.
I have never seen those
They
shows.
also get behind the
tell.
scenes stuff of how the production, how going into filming a show like that works, and
It's true. And they just unpack everything that had happened at the show. So,
Okay, so
I
they
don't know how
just
you feel.
talk about their thoughts about
Yes.
some event or whatever.
So let's say it's an hour long, whatever episode you're watching, and so much, how reality TV is, they jam so much at you, and they edit stuff and they cut stuff and whatever, and they pretty much gear what they want you to see, right? So, but then in these podcasts, they just pick it all apart, and they're like, well, what'd you think about this person? What'd you think about that person? Well, I really thought this.
Yeah. Or they'll be they film for how many hours a day, but then you only see the 1 hour
Right.
of the
Yeah.
TV show. So you're missing so much. And so that
context and
yeah,
stuff.
so they
Yeah.
kind of put a little bit more context to
Yeah.
it. And it kind of can change your opinion on some of these characters that they're trying to paint as a villain or whatever. And sometimes they're really not. We're set up in a way, Anyway, we and Kathy could talk about this. Could be a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast.
hold up. Jeez.
We could podcast about the Bachelor podcast.